This is not a dream.
There's another session of Twist in the Tail. This is episode 2, and we're looking at another equation for us to solve. So we're going straight to the point. Looking at this equation, we solve it by considering the terms. Yeah. So this here is a multiplier of 3. You can see it here. And then you have 2 terms in the bracket. Apart from that, you have another term here. So you have one term here. The bracket makes all of this one term. And then you have this here. So there are 2 terms, one here and one here. But inside this bracket are 2 more terms. It means that we're going to distribute the 3 over the 4 and the minus 1. And the distribution should be times 3 times 3. This is because we have 3 here. Once we distribute, we no longer need the 3. So we take this away. So as you can see, we have 3. We drive it down to here. 4 times 3. And then we can drive this and park this here. Yeah. So this is y times 3. So 4 times 3, the answer that we're going to get is, well, this means that we're getting 12 here, and we're getting minus 3y here. Okay, so this was 3 times 4, 12, and then we have this here. Now, all we have to do now is recognize that we no longer need this bracket. Bracket has been dealt with. So what we need to do now is just group like terms. Grouping like terms means that we take this to the other side. Take 12 to the other side. Now this negative is attached to minus, is attached to 3y. So what sign is this? So apparently the sign that comes with this should be positive. The positive sign is what we need here. Yeah. And we are doing this because it is going to be needed as we move to the other side. There's nothing adding on for now, that's why the positive is not visible. But because we want to use it, we're going to introduce it now. Moving this, just before we make a turn, the sign changes color. Now by changing color, recognize that we have transposed, and now the figure now is 9 minus 12. Obviously the answer is clear. 9 minus 12 will be minus 3 is the figure there. So what we do now is recognize that the relationship between minus 3 and y is one of multiplication. It's minus 3 times y, because the multiplication is not visible. So what we have to do is move this. But obviously, dividing both sides by minus 3 will cancel the minus 3 on the left side, and minus 3 will appear on the right side. So minus 3 over minus 3, of course, negative will cancel negative. 3 will cancel 3, and our answer will be 1. So this will be our answer. So y is 1, but because we divided by negative, we are going to flip this about. Dividing by negative, we flip this about, so that this becomes our final answer for this system. So we move on to our second question, which is this. So 5 minus x over 3 minus 3 less than 6x minus 1 over 5. So with this, all we have to do here is multiply. We're going to multiply through by the LCM of 3 and 5, which is 15. LCM of 3 and 5, which is 15. So notice that we have multiplied each of the terms by 15, which is the LCM of 3 and 5. So obviously 3 will go into 15 a couple of times, and then 3 will multiply 15 here, and then 5 will go into 15 3. So as 3 goes into 15 5 times, 5 goes into 15 3 times. So as we can see, 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 5 goes into 15 3 times, and 3 multiplies 15 to give you 45. So at this point, we distribute the 5 over the 2 terms in the bracket. So you notice that this 5 will multiply 5. We no longer need this whilst we have distributed. So by the distribution, 5 will multiply 5, and this 5 will multiply x. So we get simplifies to 25 minus 5x, as we can see here. However, we no longer need these brackets, since we have distributed the multiplier outside the bracket. This leaves us with 3 terms on this side of the equation. So as you can see, there's a 3 here, and we get to distribute it twice in these places for the 2 terms inside the bracket. And this will give us, so by distributing the 3, we have 18x minus 3. And this means that we no longer need these brackets. And over here, we have 2 terms on this side of the inequality. So here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms in this system. But obviously, there's nothing adding on 18 here. But I'll place this here for the sake of what we want to do. So positive sign is here. There's an invisible positive sign that lives by the 18, as you can see there. So what we have to do is now group like terms. It means that these two have to have numbers, and they have to move towards this side. And this, which is a variable with a number coefficient should come to join this one here. So when that happens, what would be the result? So it means that this, for the meantime, is going to move. Also, this, for the meantime, is going to move. So while 25 and minus 45 come this way, positive 18 goes this way. So this one moves here, and it will change sign. It will change sign. Yes. So it will change sign to become negative, right? So we just have to bring it here. Or we could place it here, but maybe we just place it here. Make work easier. So you can see that we have two terms all with x. Now these two terms will also have to move. But in moving, you have to remember that the sign there in front of 25 is also positive. It's a positive sign that is normally not paid attention to. So here is a positive sign. Yes, it's positive. It's adding, but there's nothing to add on, that's why we don't write it. So what we have to do is similar as we did. We have to move this, right? And also move this in session. But their signs will have to change. So whilst the negative turns to the positive, yeah, so this now becomes a positive figure, and this here now turns to a negative figure. The 25 turns negative. So it goes here on the side, and we can put this one also on the side. Or rather, we can place it here since we have some space here. Yes. And so since it's positive, we no longer need to recognize this because there's nothing to add on here. So it's 45 minus 3 minus 25, and this becomes our equation. Obviously, we have these two terms similar. So if you notice, there's x here, there's negative here, there's negative here, right? Yes, so we have 5 and 18 of these negative x. So essentially, how many negative x do we have? So we have 23 of these negative x. So the answer will be 23. So negative 23x. So essentially, this is what we are having here. And then we can drag this to the side. So it's now negative 5 minus 18. And since this is common factored out, we can place all of this around the bracket. Yeah. So this is how it can be. And then the figure in here will be minus 23. So this is minus 23x. And all of that will be equal to what is here. So the answer here will be 17. 42 minus 25 is 17. And then it's equal to this. So obviously to solve this, all I have to do is move this here over here. That's how we divide. So by dividing 17 over minus 23, need to write as well. Yes, that will be the answer to our inequality. So x is less than minus 23 over, but because we divided by negative, what happens is that we have to flip our sign so that it's now moving in the other direction. So for the first equation, we had y being less than or equal to 1, and now the second one, x, double inequality. So how do we deal with the double inequality problem? So this here is a double inequality, the third question here. Minus 4 less than or equal to 3x plus 2.5. So minus 4 less than or equal to 3x plus 2, less than 5. So there are two inequalities here and here. Two systems of inequalities working. So what we're going to do now is pretty simple and straightforward. We're going to work this first inequality and then work this one. So it's like we're going to double the inequality, and then yeah, we're going to double the inequality. So we're going to pair this one with this. So we're going to solve the top inequality, double inequality. So double inequality. So to solve this, all we have to do is keep this x on this side of the inequality, whilst the rest go away. So remember that this is positive, so if we attempt to move this, everything's falling down, things fall apart. Yeah, so if we attempt to move this positive, obviously the sign will not remain the same, it will change. So the sign changes, and then we move it to the other side. So we can shift these here, shift this there, and then we have negative. Yeah, so we have minus 4 minus 2 less than or equal to 3x. Obviously this is going to give us a figure. So 3x you have on this side is greater than minus 6, and minus 6 on this side is less than 3x. So what we're going to do is divide both sides by 3, cancel the 3 here and bring it here. So we're going to get minus 6 over 3, and 3 goes into 6 how many times? 2 times. So guess what? X is greater on this side than minus 2, and minus 2 is less than x from this side. So this is how we form the first solution, by keeping x on the right hand side. So moving on to this second one, we are going to do a similar thing here, where we're going to take away 2 to this side and keep the x on the side. So moving 2, we pull it down and the sign changes as it moves to the other side. Well, there's a bit of no space, so let's shift this way. So we can get some space for our term, incoming term, negative 2. Yeah, so you can see here, 3x is less than 5 minus 2. And obviously we know what the answer for this is. The answer for this will be 3. So 3. Yeah. So dividing both sides by 3, 3 comes here. 3 on 3, and you know what the answer will be already. And that will be 1. So this is it. So the first inequality had a solution, minus 2 is less than or equal to x. The second inequality has a solution, x is less than minus 1. Right? So the values range from minus 2 all the way, minus 2 inclusive, to 1 not inclusive. Now we have two x's. To fuse the answers, I'm going to pick one of them and then keep it in the middle because it's the same solution. And then we bring this together to form the solution. So what's the answer? As you can see, so the answer to this double inequality is minus 2 is less than or equal to x and less than 1. So this is the range of values that work in this double inequality. Yeah, so finally, we're done with the 3 solutions. Do not forget to subscribe and check out the first twist in the tail video to find out more interesting stuff if this is your first time. Check out my next video, and once again thank you to all the sponsors for helping us get these cubes to your learners.